May Allah bless everybody.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-ali al-azim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to have our session today from Saint Ottilian, which is a monastic community of Benedictines near Munich in Germany. And inshallah, I will try to have a short discussion, and then if you have questions, we can answer questions. We were talking about different types of hearts. And now there is a kind of discussion here. And the title is در بعض مکائد شیطان, about some of the plans or plots of Satan, some of the things Satan does to deceive. Imam Khomeini says, among satanic vicious manipulations and deceptions of Shaitan is that sometimes Shaitan deceives a believer, especially a wayfarer towards God, by attracting him to a beautiful face. You know, they say that in order to be fully focused on God, we need to be bringing all our attention to God. Unfortunately, we have too many distractions. So sometimes people who have love for a human being, they have some focus. But Urafa, they call this ishq majazi, figurative, or, you know, this is unreal love, because real love cannot be parallel to love for God, can come under love for God, but not parallel to that, or equal to that, or na'uzu billah, even higher to that. But they say people who have experienced this ishq majazi or figurative love, they have one good point, and that is they are already focused. A true lover, as we have in stories like Layli or Majnun or Shirin or Farhad. So the lover does not think about anything, even doesn't bother about his own health or reputation, what people are going to judge about me. They just think about the beloved. Can help them if they later shift to God, because they are focused and they just need to replace the unreal beloved with real beloved. But the thing is that you cannot go to this path by yourself. You cannot say, you know, I want to fully fall in love with someone, and then after that I will switch to God. Because many times these things can involve big mistakes, sins, wastage of time, and also there is a great chance that you may not then decide to switch to God. So Shaitan sometimes comes and may try to say, no, first try to love a human being, and then you can switch to God. This is the way, of course, I think Imam Khomeini is talking about it. But maybe there is also another option, that when we move towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Shaitan brings things that can distract us. For example, maybe Shaitan brings to my attention opportunities for learning, for example, opportunities for teaching, for tabligh, for business, for money, I don't know. Many things can come to divert my attention. And sometimes also it can be romantic love, or a love for a human being can come on my way. And this is very possible that Shaitan does his best to find a way to stop you, to divert you, at least to drain your energy. So it's very difficult to remain free in your heart and just focus on your journey. This is one problem. So I gave you two interpretations. The first, what I think is what Imam Khomeini says. The second is another interpretation that you can take both of them. Both of them are correct. The other thing is that sometimes a bad sheikh, a bad teacher or master or instructor or mentor can come on our way. There are people who want a spirituality, but they are not able to find who is qualified to be a teacher or a mentor and who is not qualified. And they sometimes are trapped with people who are not qualified but present themselves as qualified, or accept to be adopted as teacher. Maybe they don't say I'm teacher, but they're happy to be taken as a teacher and mentor and a spiritual instructor. And then they see that these people are doing wrong things, but they close their eyes. What they say doesn't make sense, it's not rational. They don't bother. So this is also another trap and another obstacle that can happen. And Imam Khomeini says sometimes these people are very vicious people. Sometimes, they are thirsty for, I don't know, fame, or thirsty for power, or controlling people. So we have to be very careful. When you move towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you may have more dangers compared to someone who is sitting and doing nothing. When you are trying to achieve something, there's a chance that more problems can happen to you, because Shaitan sees that there's a threat now. Someone wants to get closer to God. But if someone is not doing anything, so there is no need to plan against that person. Then he has a very important discussion, which is one of those areas that needs acquaintance with philosophy, but we try to make it simple. He says, because mu'min, a believer, is in his character balanced and straight, and is moving towards God on the straight path, then in the hereafter also he would be resurrected in a balanced way and as a human being who is standing on his or her feet. And it is everything like a human being. So a full human being, and on the right position, head is on the top, feet on the bottom. But if human beings go away from the straight path, then what happens is that on the day of judgment, when there is resurrection, they will be resurrected in a form which suits their reality, their conduct in dunya, the way they behaved. And therefore, they may no longer be resurrected as human beings. They might be resurrected as an animal. And also they may be resurrected upside down. Head would be down and feet would be top, which means this person was confused and misguided in dunya. Aql was not listened to, and therefore now he is upside down. And he makes then a very important point here. And I would like to explain. This is the philosophical point here. So far, it is what we can understand from the text, from Hadith, etc. But then he brings a philosophical argument as a backup. در آن عالم صورت و هیئت تابع قلوب است. In this world, you may have very clean, very pure heart, but your body is the same as a person who has impure heart. Or even maybe that person has a stronger body. Your body is weak, you are ill. Or that person may look more beautiful than someone who has pure heart. Because in this world, our form and shape don't follow our reality. Our reality is a matter of what is in the heart, what is in the soul. But he says, در آن عالم, in the other world, صورت و هیئت تابع قلوب است. Your form and cast is subordinate to your heart. و ظاهر ظل باطن. Your outward appearance is subordinate to your inner reality. و قشر سایه لب است. And the shell is subordinate to what is inside. So it's totally different from dunya. Dunya, these two may not match each other. Sometimes they match. For example, someone who is very pure, maybe you can see on their face some brightness, some light. Sometimes it's possible, but not always. And in the hereafter, it's always identical. Whatever is inner reality of someone would certainly be visible and would be seen outwardly. و مواد آن عالم مثل این نشأه تأسی از تأسی from معصیه از قبول اشکال ملکوتیه باطنیه ندارند. In this world, our material part, like my body, does not accept my malakuti reality. So if I am a human being, or if I'm a, I don't know, monkey, or I'm a pig, or a wolf, depending on what is the dominant characteristic in me, still my body is the same. My body refuses to reflect my reality, my malakuti reality in this world. But in the other world, my material body, of course, in the discussion about Ma'ad al-Jismani, we have discussion whether it is the same body or is a lighter body, whatever. But anyway, we have a body there. In Barzakh, we have body. In resurrection, we have body. That body would not disobey my malakuti reality. So if my malakuti reality is good, my body also looks the same. If it is bad, it looks the same. و این در محل خود مبرهن است. So this is a philosophical point that in philosophy has been established. پس قلوبی که از حق و حقیقت معرض هستند, those hearts which have turned away from the truth, from realities, and gone away from fitrat mustaqim, from straight innate nature of humanity that God has given us, and they are focused on dunya and pay attention to dunya, then in the hereafter, they would be resurrected in a form that would reflect missing the balance and missing being straight, and they would be upside down because they are more focused on what is lower, what is dunya. They are not heading upward, they are heading downward. And he says, maybe in that world, some would walk on their face. Don't say we cannot walk on the face. Yes, in this physical world, we cannot walk on the face. But in the hereafter, the reality of your conduct in dunya can be the closest thing to someone who is walking on the face. Some people walk on their stomach. Some people maybe walk like human beings. So the ayah which says, أَفَمَنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبًّا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ أَهْدَى أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Allah says, is the one who walks on his face more guided, or the one who walks on his path? Can refer to this point, that it's not totally metaphoric. It is referring to a reality that now is hidden from us, but would be then manifest on the day of judgment. And then it says that according to some hadith, Sirat al-Mustaqim involves wilaya also, like Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imams, because Sirat al-Mustaqim in the Quran is the path of servitude to God. Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adam an la ta'budu ash-shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin wa an i'buduni hadha siratun mustaqim. And servitude to God then requires to have godly appointed leaders. And for those who have access to know who has been appointed by God, then part of their commitment to being on the right path is to acknowledge that Imam. So this is why in some hadith says that Amir al-Mu'mineen is Sirat al-Mustaqim. And there is also a hadith in Kafi that Fuzail says that he heard from Imam Baqir alayhi salam in a conversation that he had with Imam alayhi salam in Masjid al-Haram. And he says, we were next to Babu Bani Shaybah, the gate from which Bani Shaybah used to enter Masjid al-Haram. And Imam alayhi salam said, Ya Fudail, hakadha kanu yatufun fil jahiliyyah. In a similar way, they were doing tawaf in Jahiliyyah. So people at that time where Bani Umayyah were ruling, and maybe those people at that time that were there doing tawaf, they didn't bother about this thing. They didn't have proper direction. They didn't know about, requirements of faith and about, leadership, etc. So Imam says they are not that much different in spirit, in truth, from the people who were doing tawaf in the time of Jahiliyyah. لا يعرفون حقا ولا يدينون دينا. They don't know the truth and they don't follow the true path. يا فضيل انظر إليهم مكبين على وجههم. Look at them, they are walking on their face. And then after some words, Imam read this ayah, فَمَنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبًّا عَلَى وَجْهِهِ أَهْدَى أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. And then he said, يَعْنِي وَاللَّهِ عَلِيًّا عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ وَالْأَوْصِيَاءُ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّلَامُ. According to this hadith, it means that wilayah for the people who have been informed of wilayah or have access to knowledge about wilayah, then becomes a requirement. And this is in line with hadith that Sunni Shia have narrated about man mata wa lam ya'rif imama zamanih mata mitat al-jahiliyyah. This is not to underestimate iman of some Muslims who are not Shia, but this is a warning for the people who can know and have access, but they don't bother about this aspect of their faith. So this is about Sirat al-Mustaqim and about being balanced in this world and being resurrected in the right shape and form. And then he has a discussion about the difference between the heart of Munafiq and heart of Mu'min. And inshallah we will discuss this in the next session, bi'iznillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
اللهم صل على محمد